Describe the most valuable aspect of learning more about well-being, resilience, 3 principles, and/or my guide and side. For example, what do you know now that you didn't know before? What have you noticed about your thinking as you learn more? And as you consider how you might help students respond and connect, what is it that
I felt that we often use words like resilience and intuition. But what I really liked about this session was that we were asked to relate words like resilience and intuition to our lives. And we brainstormed about what does the word resilient relate to in our lives and how intuitions and feelings are really connected. So it was a completely different perspective that we looked at. And I think what was more valuable was that when I thought about it later, I felt that this kind of a discussion with students would add so much value, because they would learn also to look at themselves and kind of inspect their own thoughts, and also learn to distinguish. We would be able to help them to distinguish between what is really a superficial thought or something which is more like an intuition, and how they can help their thoughts shape their behavior. And this is what I'm carrying back with me. And I think in my interactions with my teachers, in my interactions with my children, this is what I would like to tell them, that, start giving it a little more mindful attention. And that's how you can shape your thoughts.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brinda. Monisha?
So my learning, and which is, I think, going to stick around for a long time, is the importance of teaching the children listen to your gut. Whenever we talk to children, we talk about literally everything, but we never talk about the gut feeling. So I think that is one thing that I would like to ensure that the children understand, is that inner voice thing, that don't wait for anybody else to guide you. First, try and find out what your inner voice says. Because, when children do something wrong also, there is a conscious that tells them it's wrong, don't tell a lie, don't follow a friend who's telling you to do something which is not correct. But because we never point out the importance of the inner voice, nobody listens to it. And second, I would like to say is the way you conducted the sessions, and there were questions with which we started. You got us thinking from the word go. So I think that also is a part of learning, that when we are talking about handling anything, it's all to do with your thinking and then listening to your inner voice. So the silence around you works better than anything else. So,
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manisha. Supreet?
Yeah, I feel like I felt consciousness, self-realization. That is the biggest thing which now I'm able to relate with each and everything, wherein teaching my daughter, she's in 12th, or my son, who is about to be adolescent. Now what is their life and how they need to take the step forward, because this is the beginning of their life where I can help them as well as my students. So this self-realization, and again the discussions which we had, it was wonderful, where I was able to connect with my own soul. So that was the beauty of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supreet. Rachna?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you.
I just want to say, in short, I would like to say that to bring the quality in the class and to make the environment of the class happy, to create a strong student-teacher relationship, develop a good communication skills, listening skills. We have to be patient, and adopt a friendly attitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Ragna. Thank you. Nibrati?
Hi, ma'am. First of all,
Hello.
Thank you very much for all these beautiful sessions. I got a chance to talk to so many people whom I've not met, and I was able to, certainly relate to everybody's idea. And internally, I started feeling that each one of us, no matter where we live, no matter how we think, we all actually connect at a point, and we all have a similar thought process around which we operate. So, a couple of days ago, I heard somebody saying that a man was so poor that he only had money. I mean, that was something which actually made me feel and think. Similarly, I mean, after these sessions, I realized that I should never be actually looking at just the grades of a child. Possibly a child could be as rich, or possibly he must be scoring really good, but then there is more to grades. There's more to life. So this is one thought which I will carry, and I will certainly try to have that unconditional love for my children. Also, there's one more thing, like if you look at a tree, you just definitely you cannot see the roots of the tree. But that's the most essential part, and it is the thing which holds the entire tree. Similarly, in ourselves also, it's our consciousness, and the formula which you gave us, mind, consciousness, and thoughts, that is definitely contributing a lot to that root of ours. And if we are able to carry this all through our life, and we know that consciously, we will definitely be able to branch out beautifully, and we really be able to live happily. Thank you.
Thank you, Nibrati. Neelam?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
What I want to say is, I have said it before also, these topics that we discussed here are, very sensitive, and I think, very personal as well at times. People normally don't discuss these things, on a casual conversation. So the way you, have brought up these topics like intuition and, listening, going inside, going inwards, and the discussions that we have had during these sessions among ourselves was something which was very, important, and helped me to, maybe think on these, and then maybe how can I further discuss it with anyone else. Another thing which was really helpful and important was the way you have put these concepts and ideas onto paper. So it has actually given us a maybe a format of how we can take it further, and how we can maybe imbibe it and then discuss with children and help them to understand these concepts. So these two things were, I think, takeaways for me, and very important things that I learned from this session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bharti?
A very good morning and good evening to everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank you for this session. Though I could not attend the last two sessions due to some occasion, means I had my granddaughter's occasion, but the two sessions which I had attended, means in that I felt like, one, we had talked about resilience, the other about thinking, mind, consciousness, and then relating it to some of our real life situations and all. By that I felt, I gathered that a self-introspection is really very necessary, because till you are not going to peacefully, in silence, inspect yourself, you will not be able to think. The one which you gave formula, mind, consciousness, so your inner voice, that is what you need to learn. So that is what was my takeaway. And I would like to also help my students that they should also learn the lessons, that sometimes they should also try to think in silence, in peace, and self-introspect themselves. That's what I would like to say. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharti. Piyush?
Hello, good morning, Christa, and good evening, everyone else. So I would like to begin by, me saying good morning and good evening at the same time. So first thing that I learned was the separate realities to begin with. So, and, just to accept, that people can be different fundamentally, essentially they are the same. And the universality of how we think, that is something that has boggled my mind throughout the session. And to be honest, this has been an induction course for me. All of you are magnets who have had experiences. And then I'm just like that rusted iron nail who is trying to align himself in the same direction as yours. So for me, it's been an enriching experience. I would say that we talk about the employability skills in this 21st century. But if you look at the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so first are the psychological, then the psychological, and then any other kind of needs. Let's say maybe educational, right? Or then later on maybe financial. So I think more important right now is to teach students the importance of the existential skills, right? I listened to this person called as the Sadhguru. So he always talks about, how complex the human body is. So this entire machinery is really complex. And if we are really trying to achieve something with this as a medium, we should know in and out of this machinery. And let's face it that humans are blessed with this emotional intelligence and, the overall intellectual part of it. So how to really make use of it is something that I think is more important to be imbibed in the psyche of the students right from the beginning, because the rest of the things are just the byproduct of how well you utilize this fantastic faculty that God has given you. So that is my learning from this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that's, I've got my little checklist. I think that we've heard from everyone. Am I right? We've heard from everyone. Yeah? I think so. What a pleasure. We're recording this, so I'll be able to listen again to what each of you had to say. Everyone has contributed so beautifully, and we feel like we've gotten to know you a little bit over the past weeks, and hopefully we'll get to know you a bit more. We'll see what the path forward is, how we can connect, and how I can be in service in any way. But I really love how the sharing of the collective wisdom has enriched all of our lives, and I'm so delighted to see that you see the value of the stories and the value of, and how it gets to be a little bit funny. It's something, like I said earlier, that it's intangible, and everyone has it inside, yet it's worth talking about, especially in school, where, like Piyush was saying, it's really so important as a foundation of how do we operate as human beings, and then everything else falls into place. I know with learners, whether they're struggling with due to developmental disabilities and the intellect is perhaps lower than average, they can understand the power of thought just as well as children who are gifted with a high intelligence yet have anxiety around that. They can learn from the power of thought, and they can learn the value of a calm mind and accessing intuition to create their path forward. So it's just been a real delight, and thanks all for joining. This is a very simple version of what we're going to build, and so perhaps the next round of teachers will have somewhat the same but a little bit fancier platform. But I think we've all enjoyed the Zoom, and it's interesting to me how, like Piyush was saying, separate realities, we're all seeing, yes, it's separate realities, but as one person was saying, how we really do come to the singular, and that's where the power is, seeing how we're all really the same in the way we operate.